Hey y'all, well, I ain't even feel like recording, but I'm gonna have to motivate myself today. It's Monday and everything too. And I gotta motivate myself to work out today too. I'm kind of off to a late start with everything, but oh, y'all see, excuse me, I'm already yawning, y'all. It's just like one of them days out and stuff like that too. I got my little what I got to do this week. And I am unfortunately about to make me a 4 ounce cup of coffee, at least a 4 ounce cup. I done got myself down to where I can, have no more than 4 ounce, so basically a total of 8 ounces of coffee today. It's been all right. It has its days, y'all. Obviously I'm cutting off of caffeine. I'm like slowing myself down so I can be more, just treating my body better with things, y'all. So even last night, like I didn't record that, but it was a late night for me last night, Sunday. Today, Monday now. It's Monday right now. It's almost 11:30. Okay, I guess the sun trying to peek out for a little bit, but I know it's going to be cloudy. We all up. We have went for a little ride. Got some of the things we needed. Of course, y'all know inflation, everything going up because you know who. You already know why. So if y'all been watching the news, y'all definitely know why. And yes, I got my twist and stuff, y'all. I done, my little pixie cut, rocking it. And the twist is in right now because I had took a shower and stuff. I had to, we moisture my hair a little bit, and just letting these twists kind of set in there. So when I take them out, it's kind of like how I want with a pixie cut. But I'm loving my pixie cut so far, y'all. It just really, go. My husband was like, it's giving a '90s look. I'm a '90s baby, so yeah. Early '90s, '92 to be specific. But I love that era, so I like, I don't mind that. That's cool to me. But yeah, it's just to me fitting with that. But yeah, you guys, I'm out there, like I said, make me some coffee. I got schoolwork. I'm forcing myself to. Usually, I give myself the first 2 days off, y'all. Excuse me, but yeah, I've been forcing myself basically to be more productive and stuff like that. Sometimes you gotta force yourself to do things you don't want to do. That's gonna lead into one of my next shorts too. Not this video, but my next short too. Um, I'm a little achy, y'all. Like I just been a little achy, probably tense, probably stressed or whatever. But other than that, I've been all right. Um, I need to work out though, y'all. So I was thinking about doing that. If our daughter take a nap or whatever, I'm gonna go ahead and oh, excuse me, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and probably work out then. Do a little light work. I'm gonna be working on my arms and abs today. So I like to give myself at least 30 minutes because you figure and I do my workouts at home. I'm not at a gym. It'd be a little easier sometimes at the gym. The equipment, kind of make you wanna. But I do mine at home, so I figure, hey, at least I get my 30 minutes in. I'm just toning up. I don't really want to lose weight. I want to tone up the muscle and strengthen the muscles I do got. So 30 minutes for me twice a week is pretty doable. I'm just building it back up, and then as I go, if I feel like I can go up, increase it up to an hour, or do twice a week an hour, then yeah, but for right now, yeah, 30 minutes is going to do for me. But yeah, y'all, making my coffee. I got it on and stuff like that. And this time I'm doing some hot coffee because it's cold outside. So that's the good thing about having a coffee pot. If y'all didn't see my video either about how I literally save $100 or more, depends on what you get in the lattes and stuff like that. How I save it, making my coffee at home, not my cold brew rather at home, because that's to me the versatile. Like if a person that's particular, then yeah, but if you like coffee, you just like coffee and stuff like that, and you don't mind cold coffee or whatever, cold brew, that's pretty much the same thing to me. Like you nowadays, if y'all been keeping up, you don't never know what they putting in these things for real. So you don't know what they putting in the food. Like I be reading them little articles, the salmonella and this is being recalled, everything being recalled nowadays. Like literally, and it's unfortunate because we gotta eat something. Obviously, everybody don't have a bunch. I'm sorry, I was just looking at something glare on something. Everything don't have a everybody don't have that to be able to just make everything organically. I'm sure a lot of people would if they could. And it gets expensive, just like, obviously, with everything going up, even just the water, we just paid $7 for a case of water. It wasn't even Polar Spring. It was just like the Pure Life kind or whatever. If y'all got that kind, or if y'all know what that kind is. And it's just like, that used to be like $5, like literally just last month. So it could have been because we got it out of Family Dollar or whatever, but still. That's ridiculous. Obviously, that's insane. And, should we thought about water tabs? You wonder why people debate the question of, oh, them drinking their water at home and stuff like that, or just out the regular faucet, because who got that? That's another thing, too. Like, if I could purify water, if I could, not purify, but if I, that's a whole nother story, y'all, because I'm getting off subject right now. But, yeah, like, just back to the video. So, yeah, no, it is a debate. I mean, it is a battle as far as in me, like I said, with my coffee. I started to pick up my coffee intake more once I had my daughter and stuff like that. Obviously work and everything influenced that too, but definitely when I picked up my it definitely picked up once I had my daughter and stuff and became more of a stay at home mom because like with work, I can always, if I really want to, call off. Like that was the type of ghetto job I worked at. Not saying that they didn't try, but they really didn't enforce it. They needed people so bad there that like you could really do kind of what you wanted to do. It seemed like, so yeah, like I could call off if I want to. If I don't want to work the shift and I know that my job wasn't going to be at risk. Like, they still got me right now. Like, usually most places will terminate you and stuff like that. They still trying to, not the job, but, the union that was associated with the job that I was at. They still be contacting me, reaching out, telling me to come, like do a strike with them over at the job. And it's like, yo, I don't work there. I stopped working there a year ago. Like, y'all serious? But, yeah, so yeah, y'all, like, basically just a little info on that. Um and I thought that my coffee, I thought my schedule would be better as far as in sleeping and stuff like that, and just at home. And it do give me more flexibility and more time obviously on my hand, but now I had to prioritize my time. And with now I'm home, like before it was just okay, it was already pretty much planned out for me. Now is okay, I'm home. I have, to me, more than enough time on my hand in a way, but I can't do what I want to do, if that makes sense. Any parent know, y'all know. So, yeah, y'all, I'm not getting sleep, y'all, like that. I'm only getting like 3 hours of sleep, and I am trying to cut out off coffee like that too. So it's really, no, I just ain't doing that, but it's, I'm trying to cut out on coffee, so it's really also making it difficult, in a way too. But just wanted to make that short video, y'all. Like, I'm not really getting as much sleep, and you know I don't know what I can do, with my 2-year-old Tyler. I'm trying to get her on the schedule. Her schedule's all over. So like last night she went to sleep at like 2, but it's throwing everything else out of whack for me. Like, this morning I was supposed to get up early and exercise. Like, granted, I got up, took my shower and everything, and got myself somewhat together and stuff like that. But now I'm not a person that could just exercise at any point of the day. Is anybody else like that? So now I gotta figure out, and I have to exercise today. I gotta figure out when I can find time to exercise and, still have time for my family and everything. So what do y'all do in situations like that, y'all? Is anybody else having that issue? Like, I want to exercise. It's not that the motivation ain't necessarily there, or maybe, like, I just need to I know I need to prioritize my schedule a little bit. And I still want to be able to, like I said, keep on a somewhat healthy schedule. But oh yeah, I don't even think I told y'all, like last night, I was trying to eat a little healthier. So versus me having macaroni that my husband made, which looked good, but I know that was gonna hurt my stomach. I had a 4-ounce cup of coffee. That was my only one iced coffee, y'all. So I waited till like what it was like 10, almost 10:30, 11 o'clock, because Jay woke up at 12. So I waited late for that, which was good for me to not have no coffee all day. So it'd be days like that, and then like it's times like right now, it's 11:30 in the morning. I'm about to have a cup of coffee, and then I don't know how this day gonna go. So I might have an ice cup, a 4 ounce ice cup, so I might have my full max that I gave myself for, because I gave myself that, I might have my full max for today, like today, because it just seemed like it's going to be a longer day. So, and then that happens too. You have your shorter days, your longer days. Like yesterday, we had woke up at like 12:30 because she went to sleep at 5 in the morning the day before. It's just been difficult, y'all. Like hard to obviously balance everything, but I still am determined to be on some kind of disciplined schedule with myself. Like I'm determined to still try to get exercise in and not make excuses for just because I have a toddler. Because I'm very active, I'm very hype. Like myself, I am pretty energetic, and just I went to my doctors. Y'all, if y'all don't know, y'all know I manage my blood pressure. I take medicine and stuff like that for that. And I don't know if I told y'all either, but I also have a heart murmur that I believe and they believe is benign. Nothing sounding bad, but they believe that I was born with that. So like she hear it, my doctor hears it, like it also probably raised my pressure, but that makes me want to like do I had got it down before to where like my pressure was good and stuff like that before I had my daughter and stuff. And um like they heard it, like she hear it, but she like, hey, as long as you're not having no pain and stuff like that or whatever, really, like chest pain and stuff like that, really what it, you know, shoot. And then, I used to drink a lot of coffee too, so, that would cause heartburn and stuff like that, acid reflux and stuff like that, which now that I'm older, when I was younger and I was having this stuff going on heavier at that time, 230, I didn't realize all that stuff like that. But now being have been in the healthcare field and knowing my body a little bit more and stuff like that, and I already know I've had this heart condition and stuff like that for 10 about 10 years now. I've had high blood pressure for about 10 years now, and a lot of aids in general have that. You can't always eat the greatest when you're in the healthcare field. I did night shift and everything, so I couldn't always eat the health, greatest. Coffee was my best friend. Coffee, pretty much always, as far as the drink of choice, has been my best friend. I'll take a cup of coffee over some liquor, honestly. I know that's crazy, but I would though. Like, and I'd be great. Like it was a point where my doctor was telling me like, you need to really cut down on the coffee. Not now, but this make it look like I got a 10 on my glass. This is my glasses, y'all. I don't even know why it look like it's a 10 on there, but it's my skin underneath for real. But yeah, like it's just so it's things that I want to change. I used to be very stubborn, like I'm still a little, but now you figure I'm a mom and stuff like that. I want to change things up and stuff like that. I'm not saying that this is going to correct my heart condition, because I believe it's there. Like I'm not stupid. I believe that it's there. And but I would like to be able to manage it better, and stuff like that. And if sometimes you can kind of correct your heart murmur a little bit. It don't go away. Your heart murmur don't, it can go away, but it can come back. And it could be hereditary too. Another, like my daughter, she also has a slight heart murmur. They heard hers, and I know that it came from me. So I believe it's hereditary. I remember getting an EKG done when I was a kid, and I'm sure it was for that. I didn't know all of what it was for when I was like 8, maybe 8 or 9, around that, 7, 8, in that era time frame, whatever. And I didn't know at that time. I remember going in one of those machines, which I believe, I don't know what that machine is called, y'all. Like, don't quote me with that. But you go in a full body machine and stuff like that, and you in there for a minute. And I know that, and they did that with her too, to check hers. So that's how I knew. I'm like, yeah, my mom was young, she about didn't know what it was, but my doctor believe it's something, either that, or obviously it could be leaky valves and stuff like that, the heart valves or something. But and I know that, smoking and stuff, that's why I quit. None of that, I'm sure that didn't make it better, but I was able to correct it while smoking at that time, which was the crazy thing about it. Like when I was smoking, I was good, but she, corrected, she did up my blood pressure medicine on one of my medicines and stuff that I take two. it never affected my energy level really. Like, I always, my energy went on my depression and stuff that I had, y'all. This is an honest, transparent video. I know that y'all seem to like those videos, and I already told y'all I'm real. Like, I'm gonna tell y'all, things that, I can tell other people to help them. So if anybody else is experiencing that and stuff, or, you know, if you don't know what a heart murmur is, you more likely look it up. Everybody is different. Everybody's is different. So and obviously stress and stuff don't make things better. A lot of people with heart conditions in general, stress don't make things better for nobody. But it seems like the people with heart conditions, they tend to stress. They tend to be tense, and obviously I'm one of them people that is naturally, I had to calm myself down and stuff like that. So I took a break from work because that to me was adding stress. And not saying that life is perfect at home, nothing's perfect, but like, I did what was best for me at the time. And to me, cutting work out, not doing that work healthcare, because there was a lot of stress on the body and mind, and I'm not getting sleep still on top of that, and had to come home to my toddler. I like the schedule, and I have to remind myself on why I do this, because sometimes I feel like I have too much time on my hand at home, or I'm too bored, or it really be boredom for me a lot. And that's another reason why I became more active with y'all on social media too. But like, I have to tell myself this is, it's a reason why I did that. My certificate, I thought it wasn't active, it's still active, y'all, till next year. So but that's why I did that. And so I can learn, the things I need to learn that I knew I wasn't going to learn, hustle and bustling and go with the healthcare field. It made it to where I can't sit down. Like, I can't sit down and be a mom like that. I refuse to be a mom like that to my first daughter, my only child, that I'm not trying to have no more, y'all. I want to get my tubes tied. But I'm not trying to be that type of mom that is too busy for her daughter, and let her daughter. And my mom wasn't like that. She didn't let the fact that she was young. And nothing's perfect now. She still tried to find time for herself, obviously, but you figure 17, what can you really do? My mom was a great mom to me. My mom was the only parent I had, so she was definitely great to me. She gave me everything she could. And I truly still appreciate her. So now I don't burden her with my daughter, because this is her time. I realize that. And as stubborn and as I can be rude, I can be real nasty sometimes. But as much as I know all that, I try to be considerate. I try to be caring. I try to be, as genuine as possible, and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm not perfect, but I try my best to be those things. And I try my best to correct my mistakes. I do. But yeah, you guys, yeah, I haven't been getting sleep like that. Actually, I had good sleep lately, but it's just my sleeping pattern been all over, y'all. Yeah, just being honest.